Hello, Watchman of Ephraim. I have here a Donald Trump, last president of the USA, last king of Ephraim. That's the United States. That's what I witness. That the United States is Ephraim in these last days, the greatest Israeli nation of all those 13 nations, 12 nations, that the United States, the multitude of nations, Ephraim, that's who the United States is, and that Donald Trump, exclamation point, question mark, last president of the United States. He is once again stirring up Europe. What's going on here? Well, concerning Europe, the EU, could we have what I would classify a dormant volcano that's being awakened? Ultimately, the Damascus Oracle or the Great Tribulation, these events between the United States and Europe, between Donald Trump and Europe, kind of, I liken it to a dormant volcano, and I think I've brought up this analogy before. A dormant volcano that is beginning to awaken. So what happens when a volcano, I like to use Mount St. Helens because that was the last U.S. volcano that erupted. I was 18 years old and I followed it. The seismic readings and the tremors, the seismic readings they were getting, well, there's a separation, a distance of time between them. But as the eruption gets closer, these seismic readings, these tremors, these magma movements, these lava movements, they get more and more frequent. And these tremors get more and more frequent. But they have periods of time where there's no activity, and then it rumbles. And then the rumblings get more frequent, the rumblings get more intense, to where you have what? A full-blown eruption. And that's what I am witnessing here. Let's test the spirits. My witness is the United States is Ephraim, the multitude of nations in these last days, the full fulfillment of the lead tribe of the house of Israel. And of course, Israel over there in the Middle East has our name. That's really Judah, the fourth son of Jacob. Anyways, witnessing here, Donald Trump, is he going to be the last president of the USA? I think I need to bring back Damascus Oracle updates, because I included a little bit of our relations with Syria in here, getting closer and closer to each other. As I have witnessed, Iran and Russia are out. We are in. I thought it would be by a military conflict, which would make this more visible. But it's not. It kind of is going under the radar. Should I pull up Isaiah? Well, anyways, God said he would hide himself from the house of Jacob. These things are being hidden. I know Ephraim, and Israel's not hidden from me. So, Donald Trump, just giving you an update. There's periods of quiet here, and there's nothing to report. But then, like a volcano, they rumble and erupt again, and the rumblings seem to get louder. Trump's team sees Europe's erasure. Europeans see a hostile U.S. So Trump basically wants the EU erased from history. He wants it wiped out. He thinks it's destroying Western society with their mass importation of immigrants. They're destroying themselves. Well, I've kind of witnessed this on and off. I believe in the end they're going to throw these immigrants out, and there will be a breakup of the EU. But there will be an eighth beast. There will be a revival. And it's going to astonish the world. It's going to be more diverse, this last revived, Holy Roman, whatever you want to call it, is going to, if I might slide over to map here, this last end time revival, this beast that the world is going to marvel over, this is my witness. It's going to be an alignment of all the Roman Catholic Church nations. What would make it more diverse, Daniel 7:7, than anything that came before it? Well, this is my 2 cents. This is my input. And let the spirits be tested. It's going to be, it's going to include the extension of Spain, which I believe is a descendant of actually Esau. And it's going to include Latin America, 600 million people. That's going to connect with a revived Roman Empire, the last 10 toes. The last empire, the 10 toes of that great statue in Daniel chapter 2. And the world is going to marvel. Wouldn't you marvel over? And I'm not saying it's going to include other nations that are not Roman Catholic. But wherever the harlot is, I mean, whatever nations they're ruling, it's ruling over. You know, multitudes, nations, tongues. Okay. It's going to have this harlot wherever this harlot is sitting. I didn't pull up pictures of Europa. I should have done that, but I didn't. I'm kind of pressed for time here. But this EU, and Donald Trump wants it, he brought it out in a national security report. He brought it out that he wants the EU basically destroyed. Because he believes it's destroying Western civilization by importing foreigners from all over the world. A lot of them Muslims. I believe in the end, I don't mean to ramble on here, that they're going to throw these people out. There will be a mega type and test all things movement in Europe. But be careful what you wish for, you might get it. Because this alliance is kept especially right here, a docile, what I witness Syria, let the spirits be tested, Germany, dormant. The same thing that happened before is going to happen again, only on a worldwide grand scale. You're just seeing the rumblings of it. I thought this was going to happen the first go-around when Trump came in and he started stirring up Europe, especially Germany. Well, it failed. And after he loses the election, a few days after he loses and gives up power or whatever, he decides he's going to run again. And I'm like sitting there because I have his oracle. If indeed we are Ephraim, and I believe we are Ephraim, let the spirits be tested at this time, I have his oracle. I'm sitting on the couch when he's announcing he's going to run again. I'm like, don't tell me. This thing that I have that was given to me pertains to the second go. This guy's going to win again. And actually this oracle pertains to his second inauguration and presidency. He keeps talking about running again in 2028 and this and that, finding ways. Let the spirits be tested. But here he is again, stirring up the EU and Europe. I'm just going to go through these headlines here. Trump's team sees Europe's eraser. Europeans see a hostile USA. Relations between the U.S. and Europe hit a low point as President Donald Trump's security strategy slams Europe but largely ignores threats from Russia and China. Why is all this happening? Well, the thing that has been is what will be. Why are we the ones in control in Syria now, who have the upper hand? Well, the thing that has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. God gives you a sure word of prophecy. A new U.S. national security strategy berating Europe has triggered a wave of acrimony across the Atlantic, enraging and dismaying European officials who say the document has turned the Trump administration's vitriol against European democracies into formal policy. Their policy, their strategy is the destruction of the EU. So keep that in mind. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. In the end, this EU and this NATO alliance has kept down. Sorry. My brain just keeps thinking of things, and has kept down a docile continent that tends to wreak havoc twice in the 20th century, led by what? Who? Germany, who has it in his heart to destroy nations, not a few. He doesn't mean so, but it's in his heart. It's in his genetics. Test all things. By the way, I have a couple of key scriptures here. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed. These things are slowly coming upon us. They just don't happen all at once. Strange, I think this is the 80th year, I read that, of this alliance, or the beginning of this alliance. Number 8 means new beginning. Number 7 means to fullness, to cycle out. That was when these blood red moons began to show up. I thought we were going to go over the cliff. I actually saw one of them going to work. It was very ominous. Seeing this huge bloody moon in the sky. Well, they're omens, they're signs. Yeah. The Great Tribulation is coming. It's going to come upon us. And one other thing here. For he will, Romans 9:28, 29. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because the Lord Yahweh will make a short work on the earth. Once the ball gets rolling, it's going to be quick. And as Isaiah said before, unless the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, the Lord of armies, we would have become like Sodom and we would have been made like Gomorrah. So this population of the United States is going to be reduced, to only a remnant that will go into captivity. There's another captivity coming. Not as the Hebrew rooters. That's really bad. That has to be another separate video in itself. How will that movement get it? How will the curse that the Apostle Paul laid upon them come about? I believe it's in their belief concerning their doctrine of the lost sheep, how they destroy the promises of God to Abraham, how they twist it. All right. So, Donald Trump, he wants the destruction of the EU. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. Let the spirits be tested. Trump plans to break up the EU by pulling 4 mega allies out of the bloc, report claims. But what happens when our economy collapses? Well, Donald Trump's fulfilling what? The bricks have fallen down. We'll rebuild with hewn stones. The cedars are fallen. They're cut down. But we will rebuild. We will. I'm freezing. I haven't looked at that, and my memory's really bad. It'll come to me. I always freeze up. Anyways, let me just move on here. Trump thrashes European leaders in wide-ranging interview. I think they're weak. This man is very arrogant, wouldn't you think? I don't want to speak evil of any of our rulers, but God says, I just haven't looked at prophecy in a while. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the law, and my memory is very bad. Trump thrashes European leaders in wide-ranging interview. I think they're weak. Okay, so he had an interview with Politico. The president offered no reassurance to America's allies about Russia and vowed to reshape their politics. So he wants to import MAGA into Europe. He wants to break them up. Denounced Europe as a decaying group of nations led by weak people in an interview with Politico. Belittling the traditional U.S. allies for failing to control migration and end the Russia-Ukraine war. Signaling that he would endorse European political candidates aligned with his own vision for the continent. So this movement in Europe is also growing. Mega-type movements in Europe, right-wing, AfD in Germany, Alternative for Germany, for Deutschland. Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. What happens when the world economy, it's going to go. I mean, we're 38 trillion, 36 trillion in debt. We can't keep doing what we're doing. You see it at the grocery store. You see the devaluation of the U.S. dollar. $8 for a hamburger and fries at McDonald's. EU slams critical U.S. security strategy. EU slams critical U.S. security strategy. Notes changed relationship. Okay. EU leader Costa and the German government have hit back at U.S. security strategy, harshly critical of Europe. He wants Europe to take care of itself. What he doesn't realize is he's breaking up the alliance. He wants the breakup of the alliance, and Europe is going to be on its own. This is going to turn on us, but we will see what happens. European Council President Antonio Costa and the German government have lambasted a new U.S. national security strategy that paints Europe as a troubled, declining power that may one day lose its usefulness as an ally to Washington. Just keep that in mind. The remarks on Monday from the European Union's leading economy, that's Germany, and one of its top officials delivered a stinging rebuke to the national security strategy released on Friday by the Trump administration. Keep all this stuff in mind. Trump plans to break up the EU by pulling 4 mega allies out of the bloc, report claims. So, some of these Italy, and I don't see that in the end. It could for a time, but especially Italy, be a part of that end time revived 8th beast. No woman riding on it, because going to turn on that religious organization, the Roman Catholic Church. Let the spirits be tested. Trump administration has made plans to pull 4 friendly countries out of the European Union into the American orbit in an effort to make Europe great again. Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Poland. In the end, I don't see that. Could be for a very short time, but again, let the spirits be tested. What's the main thrust I'm trying to get? He wants the EU destroyed. He doesn't want the alliance anymore. He doesn't think it's any, and we're just being sucked dry monetarily. In a way, he's right, but you have a wicked nation on your hands that what? They return, but not to the Most High. Okay, he just X out. Trump's quietly released national security document didn't escape Europe's attention. So here's that national security doctrine that wants the EU abolished. Trashes the leaders as weak. Wants them to take care of their own selves. Why Mega hates Europe. Trump takes the culture wars across the Atlantic. He blames them for the destruction of Western culture, society. Actually, we are the real ones that are destroying with our immorality, exporting our immorality, our wicked religions, and so on and so forth. We are probably the leaders of the destruction of morality. You know, we've exported it. Okay, the immigration in Europe, the overrunning of Europe by Muslims. So a lot of those nations are Israeli nations, House of Israel nations like France, Britain, Manasseh, and so on and so forth. Donald Trump is pursuing regime change in Europe. Okay. The U.S. made it clear this week that it plans to help the parties of the European far right gain power. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. Breakup of the EU. German views of the U.S.-Germany relationship turned sharply negative. 74% of the people in Germany look at U.S.-German relations as bad. Americans think it's okay, but Germans think it's bad. All right? We are becoming the enemies. Now, turning to Syria here, U.S. general highlights close cooperation with Syria against ISIL threats. So this ISIS movement that still lingers in Syria, The U.S. government and the Syrian government now are in close cooperation. Would you have thunk of it? A year and a half ago, who had control in Syria? Russia, Iran. Who would have thunk of it? We are the ones now. We are buddying up closer and closer. Remember this map? I always gave you U.S. this side, Russia, Iran, west of the Euphrates River. Now it's USA, baby. We are the ones that are now buddying up in Syria. Why? Why all of a sudden? Who's the United States? Ephraim. Why all of a sudden does Syria, why does its leader show up a month ago in the White House? First time ever. Why all of a sudden are we warming up with relations with Syria? Why is our military in Syria buddying up with Syria's military in joint, if I may go here, U.S. Syrian military patrol comes under fire in central Syria. Why is our Syria's military and our military now cooperating? Back in the Old Kingdom, in the days of Ahaz, king of Judah, Isaiah 7, Syria has deployed its forces in Ephraim. Now it's reversed. Ephraim has its military deployed in Syria or Aram. Why? Maybe different scenarios, reasons, but what's going on here? Let the spirits be tested. The thing that has been is what will be. A Syria-American alliance that's going to come against Judah. That hasn't happened yet. We have not yet departed. If I may go to the map of the world here, we're still allies with our older brother Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, from Rebekah. But this is the missing link here. We must depart from Judah, our brother. Something must happen. If indeed the thing that has been is what will be, we're going to turn away. This brotherhood is going to be broken. And we're going to become enemies. And this Syria, Joseph, Ephraim alliance, that's going to be the setup for the Damascus oracle. You're seeing it slowly come to pass. Let the spirits be tested. Why are we in Syria becoming close to one another in these last days? Why doesn't anybody really see it happening? Because he's hiding himself from the house of Jacob. And we just believe, for the most part, that we are one of the what? Gentile nations. Of course, we've taken on their culture, their gods. Mainstream Christianity, Mystery Babylon. Hebrew Roots Movement, Synagogue of HaSatan. Both these movements actually destroy this truth. Let the spirits be tested. Okay. All right. So you're seeing it where I thought that this would be a war that would break out in Syria over control of Syria. I said somehow, some way, we will become allies with Syria. U.S. Syrian military patrol comes under fire in central Syria, officials say. So we had joint patrol, and it came under fire from, I do believe, ISIS or ISIL. A convoy of Syrian military forces and U.S. forces from the American-led coalition fighting Islamic State came under fire on Saturday. So we're cooperating together. We're becoming closer. Why? Why? U.S. General highlights close cooperation with Syria. Keep that in mind. Okay. Why? Why doesn't anybody notice? These things will slowly come upon you and overtake you until you are destroyed. I've been meditating on this. The old metaphor, if you want to call it proverbial, it's a good picture here. Let's, whatever. The proverbial, or the frog being slowly boiled in water. Nobody really knows. And you will get great hostility. You can get great hostility when you try to witness that this country is Ephraim. All right. I know Ephraim, and Israel's not hidden from me, but it's hidden from the world. And you have false religions like the Hebrew Roots movement and mainstream Christianity that destroys these things. That's why, people think, oh, I'm going to know when it's going to happen. But you know what? They're not going to know. Messiah himself, he said, like a snare, it will come upon all the inhabitants of the world. People think, yeah, man, I'm going to know. I'm going to know when the tribulation's going to happen. Do you know that the opinion has turned against Israel or Judah concerning that war over there with Hamas and the Palestinians? That the opinion of Judah or Israel is, as far as favorability and alliance, is on the decline. Pull it up. I might do a video. So when this does happen, when we turn against Judah, let the spirits be tested. When we turn against them, over here. I wasn't looking. And my thoughts in my mind. When we, I don't know if I can. When we turn against them here, your opinion may be, yeah, man, yeah, they're evil. And of course, there's people that don't really believe that they're part of Israel over there, that they're mostly Edomites. I'm not saying there aren't Edomites there. Probably are. Yeah, man. They're evil, they're this, they're that. And they are evil. I mean, they're going to get judged. Yeah, all they do is take from us. Well, that's true. But they don't know what's going down. Yeah, man, they ought to be destroyed. What's going to happen again? An alliance with Syria, U.S., Ephraim, Syria alliance, coming against Judah. Judah cries out to the king of Assyria for help. And we get destroyed. Well, let the spirits be tested. And then we have this thing going on with Venezuela now and the drug smuggling. Are we going to stir up Latin America? We seized one of their oil tankers. And this economic deal with the EU and Latin America to bypass America. Yeah. Roman Catholic nations aligning. We'll see what happens. Okay. Once again, if I may, the thing that has been, look at the shape of Ephraim here. Looks like the United States, doesn't it? The thing that has been, well, you can use this or this, is what will be. Look at the shape. New England, Great Lakes. Thing that has been, New England, Great Lakes, Florida, Texas, West Coast. Thing that has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. Nothing new under the sun. What brought about the captivity and removal of Ephraim to Assyria? Planned to come against Judah. Judah cried out to Assyria. Who was Ephraim aligned with at the time? Here's Jeremiah up here. Syria. Thing that has been. Who are we becoming close with now? Thing that has been. Thing that has been. Is what will be. Alliance. That which is done is what will be done. There's nothing new under the sun. Nobody knows. Right? Keep it in mind. Slowly being boiled in water. Okay. Isn't that what Messiah said about Sodom and Gomorrah as in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, the days of Lot? So it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. They ate, they drank, they planted, they gave in marriage. They married, they gave in marriage till the time that they were destroyed. Same way with Noah. Till the flood took them all away. Okay? People think, I'm going to know. No, they're not going to know. That's the majority. Well, let the spirits be tested. As for Big Don, I thought I X'd him out. Will he be the last president? Will he be the last king of Ephraim? He's got to suffer a certain fate if he is. It's in the Bible. It's a very humiliating one, too. Extremely humiliating. I have the oracle in the top drawer right here. I've kept it on guard. All right. So, we'll see. Let the spirits be tested. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.